Hello adventurers and welcome to House Rules. Today we're talking about Huzzah! Queendomino!
Yay! Yes, we've all been patiently awaiting Queendomino.
I haven't been patiently waiting.
Naomi's been impatiently waiting for Queendomino. So Queendomino is made by Blue Orange Games, just like Kingdomino. It's a standalone expansion, so that means it can be played by itself. You can also combine it with Kingdomino to play up to 8 players if you do teams, 6 players if you play regularly on a 5x5. If you haven't watched Kingdomino, you should do that now. Stop, go back, watch Kingdomino. Come back, learn about the things that are added to Queendomino that really make it ages 8 and up. There's a lot more strategy, takes more time. 25 minutes they recommend, that seems about right. But yeah, up to 8 players, so that's awesome.
So in Kingdomino, you thought you had it all. You were building your perfect little kingdom and everything was great. And then your new neighbor moved in. In Queendomino, she's all about the towers and the tax collectors and the building. I mean, she just gotta have it all.
It's about the money.
It's about the money.
Winning the game is still the same as in Kingdomino. You want to have the most points, but how you get the points has changed.
Drastically.
Yes.
A lot more strategy involved. It's pretty awesome, and Rose is going to tell us all about it.
Yes.
Queendomino is set up very similarly to Kingdomino. You have your center space, which is your neutral space, and you build off of that into making a 5x5 square. Each of the territories have to connect, but there's been added a new territory, which are these red cities. Currently, they're worth nothing, but they still have to connect them to the board in the way that you did before. But after it's your turn, your first move is to take your tile and place it into your board. Then you have the option to buy a city piece or burn a city piece after you've placed. So when you're purchasing a city, the way you read these particular tiles is up here on this corner. It shows you what resources you will get for that particular city. Down here is the victory points in which you will achieve at the end of the game, and some other things that it has on it. When you purchase it, you pay the amount of coins in whatever slot it's in, and then you place it on your city like this. So these all have different abilities. Some of them give you towers, some of them give you tax collectors, and then at the end of the game, some of them give you bonuses based off of how many towers you have. This one is pretty neat and kind of unique in the sense that it gives you extra victory points for each individual section that you have. This one happens to be a bread factory for these wheat fields, and so you get extra points for every wheat field that you have. So this one may be worth nothing right now, but if you purchase one of these, then that'll give you victory points at the end of the game. The queen works by however many particular towers that you have in your area. Once you've built a city there, the queen comes to the person with the most amount of towers who most recently built the newest tower. So when she comes, she gives you a discount and then a bonus at the end of the game. Another thing that you can do is once you've purchased a city, you may spend 1 coin in order to pay for the dragon to come and burn any of these cities squares. So let's see, this one right here is worth 5 victory points at the end of the game. It's very powerful and it currently costs 0. So if I'm the first player and I don't have a spot in order to build, it would behoove me greatly in order to pay the dragon to come and burn this up so that nobody else can get the goodness. Queendomino, the major mechanic again, is mutual marketplace and tile selection, placement, and then all the extra purchasing that happens in that time, and messing with each other, kind of. Messing with your own world in order to mess with each other.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And we think that this is actually more of a main course game. So Kingdomino really was pretty appetizer-ish, certainly a beginner game.
Yeah.
Queendomino on its own really changes to a main course game, I think.
It's much more complex.
There's much more going on. There's a lot more that you have to kind of pay attention to, so it feels much more main coursey than before. The main tricky thing that we want to tell you about is the order of operations. So when it's your turn, you pick up your meeple off of the tile that you previously selected. Then you can place tax collectors and do the tax collecting, money gaining, adding that happens there. Then you buy a building from the marketplace. After you've bought a building, you have the option to burn a building with the dragon.
Yep.
And then the last thing you do is pick your next tile. The reason we tell you that is because if you played a lot of Kingdomino, you pick up and place. Well, when you place your second on the next order, that's the signal to the next person that your turn is over. So if it's a friendly game, they might let that slide. But if you play with cutthroat people, which we're hoping that if by this point in our video series that you have found some gamers that are mean to you, we want you to know that they will be cutthroat, and as soon as you place your tile, that's it.
Right.
Turn's over. So, what do you think,
The other thing
ladies?
is that it's optional to do those middle things. You
It is.
have to place one on your board if you can, or dispose of it, and you have to pick the next tile you're going to choose. But the other steps are optional. But like you said, if you signal to the other player that you're not going to do them, then you're done.
Yeah. So. Naomi?
I love it. You knew it. I was going to. I said I was going to love it even before it came out.
Yes.
Because I was just so excited about it. I love the little buildings. I love the little queen meeple that pops from person who has the most towers to the person who has the most towers. I mean, Queen does love her towers.
That queen.
And her towers.
So fickle.
I really do enjoy like the depth of strategy. Like I rated Kingdomino very highly, and I want to rate Queendomino like more than a 5 because I love it that much. And I love the fact that you can mash them together and play this like massive 7x7 grid. I mean, it is
cool.
crazy.
That is fun.
And I love that in the rule book they call like when you mash the king and the queen together, the royal wedding.
Oh.
That is good.
It's themed.
It's
too cute.
and cute, and I love it.
So Naomi's at 5++.
5++, maybe another plus.
What do you think?
I agree. I love it. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. Maybe only 1+ for me because I keep losing at it, but but it's still fun. So even though we were lucky enough to get this preview copy, we played it at Gamepalooza, so I've played a bunch of games. And I've only won a couple times, but it's still fun every time. It's really close. You never know who's going to win until you're actually like adding up on the score pad, because there's so much happening that you could win, you know, the normal way of Kingdomino, having a lot of crowns and big territories. You can win from having bonus victory points from the buildings that you made, and there's just so much going on. You really can't keep track of what everyone else is doing when you're playing. There's a lot. It's almost a little overwhelming, but at the end you're like, was it enough? Am I there? And I'm almost never there, but it's okay. It's fun. The artwork is adorable. I love that they continued the Kingdomino theme, but they added cute little things like sheeps cutting the stilts of farmers, and you know, like wizards constructing buildings with these big lightning bolts and stuff. And it's just cute, fun. I love it. 5+ for me.
Wow. Well, I don't give it that high. I mean, I do. It's like a 3.5 for me. It's right in the middle. I really liked Kingdomino, and I liked that it was streamlined. That it was perfect. I felt like it was perfectly simple. And this adds a little fiddliness and. Not a lot, but a little fiddliness. And I think, and you should know this is a 1-game learning curve for sure.
Right.
With the expansion, or even if you just play it on your own, there's kind of a learning curve on this one that there's not on the other.
Right.
But you know, it's right in the middle for me, which is kind of strange because I really like city building. I really like mutual competitive marketplaces, but for some reason this just changed it for me. I don't know if it's the transition from appetizer to main course that I don't like as much, but I mean, I will play, and I think it's very well done. And again, they kept up the quality of the pieces. They play very well together. Actually, I think the best thing you did, Blue Orange, was this score pad.
Yes.
So
that's
by giving us a score pad, that really helps. I think at the end of the game,
Right.
when you're, because yeah, it is close. It's close in a way that it doesn't feel like it's close in the other one.
Right.
That it's like,
Well, and
oh,
it's hard to add up all those little bits and pieces. Did I get points from this? Did I count that already?
Yeah.
You know. So.
All the buildings add different things that you can win points off. Like the little tax collectors, points per tower, points for multiple tiny little fields in your kingdom.
Right. And speaking of end of game, I think they did a really good job making, if you play the royal wedding version that Naomi was talking about, the Queendomino and Kingdomino have different backs.
Yeah.
So when you have to separate it, you don't have to get out the rules and see which tiles go in which game. That's very obvious. So
Yeah.
that makes cleaning it up really easy. So.
well, good. Well, we hope that you like Queendomino. It comes out November 1st, and so we hope you rush to your local game store or Adventure Games and pick up your very own copy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.